Hello. Today I'm going to cover OpenRouter. OpenRouter is completely optional. You don't have to use it. OpenRouter is simply a website that can take a request and forward it on to different LLMs or large language models, AI models. I use it quite a lot. I don't use it at work because it's blocked, but I use it on a lot of research and a lot of projects because it makes life a lot easier. Normally, this video is presented much later in the chapter because we strictly deal with APIs. However, OpenRouter has a chat feature that might help you solve problems, might help you in this class. Now, since OpenRouter can be free, and there's a free version, there's a paid version, since it can be free, remember, never share personal information, never share anything you don't want the world to know, me to know, you don't want your parents to know, never share anything you don't want the world to know on a model or on an LLM. Because if it's free, they will use your data. That's number one. Number two, and this is a little hard, never trust benchmarks. So if you go to a lot of sites, you'll say, hey, our new model is 10 times better, blah, blah, blah. Or we look at this model 10 times better. And I don't know how much, I have a paper out on benchmarks. What happens a lot of times is that with models, sometimes the LLMs are trained on the answers. Just cheating. If you know the answer already, you can train a model. It's models do much better. Now there are more advanced models and either models. There's blue. There's all these different types of benchmarks, and there's all these type of models. So just if you see, you're reading on the news or reading something, hey, look, this new model, the Gemini 22, whatever some crazy number. Hey, it did this well. Don't always believe that. So never fully trust benchmarks because a lot of times the LLM already has the answers to the questions in the benchmark. So what model works for you might not work for somebody else. Prompting, how you interact, how you think about things, how you work through problems. Models are trained differently, and since they're trained differently, their response might be different. What works really good for me might not work good for you in terms of like chat and LLM. And finally, we're not going to really go into API keys. Never share, post, upload your API keys anywhere. API key is like a password. Yeah, so this is OpenRouter. Let's see if we can get started. Okay. I don't even know how. I guess you can probably just, let's see here. Sign out. Sign up. So you just sign up. And once you sign up and create your own account, you have a free account. Once you sign in, if you already have an account, it loads. Okay, so now we're signed in. So let's talk about the first thing, the models. Okay, so if I just click here, models, how are you going to input it? Are you going to send an image? You're going to send it a file? You're going to send an audio? Well, we're going to text it. And do we want an image back? Do we want text back? What do we want for a reply? We want text. I ask it a question, it gives me a question back. Makes sense. Now pricing. Since I do have a credit on here, it gives me this option. I don't know if it's going to give you the same option, but if you just go all the way down here to free, boom, here's all the free models. And you look at some of these like, ZAI, GLM45, it's a newer model. Point 3 is a great model. I saw Kimmy on here. Kimmy's a really strong model. So you have all these models you can use for free. So let's hit DeepSeek. Look at all this. What do I do? Well, you can just go chat right up here in the middle of the screen. But I don't know why it cuts it off on my machine. Probably because I'm using Spark. What is the capital of friends. You can I have reasoning turned on, I think, but you can get rid of that. There we go. It's a reasoning model. That's why you see all that stuff. It will give you an answer here in a second. I don't know if that's right. I've never heard of it. Located, situated in the north central cupcake. Um, so you can go here and I can change models. I can add another model. Let me just go free. What's another model? There we go. This is a vision model too. Can you create an image of a toy poodle? I think a VL model can do that. So this is basic. You can have multiple models, things like this. I guess I'll wait for the process. Yeah, my patience is not that good. So another thing is they have what they call stealth models. Don't think that these are bad models because that is not the case a lot of times. So I don't know if there's any here. I should look first. So sometimes what they have is these stealth models. So I couldn't find any right away on the site, but so these stealth models are models are not even released to the public, and generally they're like ChatGPT 6, so the new up and coming, the Gemini 4. They're the new, strongest, best models out there. And instead of releasing it to the public, what like a lot of companies do is they'll test it on OpenRouter. So don't think that OpenRouter you're getting like really bad models. You're getting some of the best models even for free. Text, and pricing free. That at a really, really, free. Mistral's a relatively new model. So I thought I saw Kim in here. ZAI just went public, great model. They have a 4.7 that I use. DeepSeek reasoning is a 2 that's really strong. A lot of these are really that I thought I saw Kimmy on here. So a lot of these are really, really strong, great models. So don't think that you're getting like bad models because that's not the case. So I showed you chat. Now there's rankings here. This ranking is not, it's just usage. There we go. Nothing else. It doesn't mean it's best or worse. It's just, usage. Okay. So if I look over here at this month, and see right now Claude Sonnet 4.5 growth, so it goes on and on. So this is just by usage. You can also look at by application. So for programming, for this month, it looks like that Nemo V2 is the best, the most used, sorry. Context length, full calling. They kind of rank it all by different, they have science, they have language, writing, sci-fi. They have a bunch of different categories, okay? Also down here, which is neat, is the apps that are calling the LLMs. So if you're looking for apps and want to learn more, Client is a computer programming. It's like code, so you just load it up and it works. You load it up like VS Code and ask it a question, start coding. Same thing like Code. And that's I use that in VS Code once in a while. So they're just different programs that are connected to OpenRouter. Okay, so if you don't have access to a lot of LLMs, add model free. These are super small. Let's see here. Okay, so let's do this. So it's going to ask 4 different models. A couple of these are paid, so I don't know why I did that. How do I solve a programming problem in Python? So it's asking all the different models. That kind of brings me on to my next point. API keys and, well, I'll cover it down the road a little bit. So we can go right here and we go keys. So these are some of my keys. Like I said, you can go create a new key. We'll just call this one test. And I'm on it since I do have money on here. I only put like 20 bucks on here at a time. I'll leave it at $2. That way, if the key ever gets out, I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to expire the key in 1 day. So I got a key right there. And I'll actually post it on here. That way we can actually see it. At least I'll post it. It won't show for you. I have it written down. Okay. Now there's another program, like I said, that I used to use a lot more. I don't use it nearly as much. It's a program that you download and use. Open Web UI. And Control T. Oh, here, let me just Open Web UI. And go back to the actual GitHub. Right here. So here's the program. You can download this. There's another one, Llama, that's now much better than it used to be in terms of having a web interface. Open Web UI is a extensible, feature-rich, user-friendly, self-hosted AI platform designed to operate entirely offline. It supports various LLM runners like Llama, OpenAI compatible API, blah, 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 blah. So Richard, what does this mean? Okay, so basically all this is this is just a program to help you access OpenRouter or other models. Okay, so this is basically what it would look like if you install it right now. Brand new install. Not now. Okay, so I have no models. This thing's completely useless. What we can do is we can go to settings and we can go to connections or connector. Okay, and so now we're going to need to get the open router URL. Let me grab that really quick. I'm just going to put in models. I'm just going to click on it. It doesn't matter, any of them. And quick start. Python. So this is where I want to send my my request. So copy that, copy, paste it in here. Okay, yeah, API key. Now where's that API key? Okay. There's space in there. Give me 1 second. Awesome. I'm just going to hit save. I thought this had a test. Maybe it doesn't. Let's save one more time. And look at that. Now, since I have a paid account, it will show me all the models. But I can just search for free, and there's all the free models. And so another cool thing about Open Web UI is that I can compare Gemini to, sorry, my webcam just flashed. I don't know really what that means. Free. Let's compare Gemini to ZAI, and then we can also compare it to DeepSeek. I just saw. Did you see DeepSeek? DeepSeek. There we go. Okay, so now let me get a homework example. Good example. I've been working on redoing a lot of the homework, and I think I finally got it there. It's the pictures that killed me. Okay, so Can you help me understand text it's text optimization in ML and LLM prompt? So now what this is going to do is take my request, send it over to OpenRouter, use that API key that I created that expires in later today, so don't try using it. It's going to ask Google, it's going to ask the ZAI, and it's going to ask DeepSeek or whatever, some type of DeepSeek. To give me all the answers back. Well, it looks like Gemini doesn't work, which is like fine. You see the speed difference too. Sometimes with free models, some models are slower than the others. So I wonder if I can just get rid of this. I might be able to make this a little bit wider, at least a little bit bigger. AI is still going. But so like I said, the nice thing about this too is this will remember the questions you ask it. This you can upload images, you can do a lot with OpenRouter. And again, it's and Open Web UI. OpenRouter everything's open. Open Web UI, you have to install on your local machine. You have to have an API or an LLM. But it basically, like I said, it allows you to upload images easier, remember conversations, switch models, add prompts, things like that. So let me know if you have any questions. I think this will help you. And of course, now it's just decided to go. You see it's starting to answer right here. I think I can just, I know I can remove these, but I don't know if I can remove it. So you see the difference in the answer. Oh, tokenization. I spelled that wrong. That's why. You get the idea. So if I could type and have spell checking. That's another thing too. Different models deal with misspellings completely different. So I encourage you to check out OpenRouter, sign up for free. As a free account, you get 50, I think it's 50 prompts a day. You might even get more than that. I really don't remember, but I think you get 50 or 100 prompts free a day. Open Web UI, totally up to you if you want to use it. Totally up to you if you want to install it. I don't use it as much as I used to. I used to live on it a lot more than I do now. I just don't use it as much. But definitely check OpenRouter if you want. I recommend the free stuff. It works great. You have access to a ton of LLMs. And we're so often sorry. They have stealth models that are super powerful. Let me know if you have any questions, if you have any problems. Thank you.